Hello again. Today, it's the second time that I'm making a production for you. It's because I've been meaning to do this for a while, but sometimes you get busy and you don't have the train of thoughts. Tonight I try to see if I can deliver what I have sometimes been contemplating on. And the warning would be that this may be more than 10-15 minutes. But then again, come to think of it, which one of mine is less than 10-15 minutes? Last time we were talking about why do we have to compare ourselves, and the fact that we are programmed to constantly try to prove ourselves or to compare ourselves versus somebody else or others in order to feel good about ourselves or to feel we are worthwhile. And that has been a byproduct of our teachers, parents, people around us, and we've gotten used to this notion of I have to compare myself in order to get affirmation. Like the others, how good I am, how valuable I am, is not dependent on who I am, what I do, how I affect the world, but it depends on how physically I better than the others, or I compare with the others. And that's why, as we mentioned, we tend to think we gotta buy this handbag, and if you're a woman, buy this shoes if you're a woman, or buy this suit maybe if you're a man, or different things, different products that could somehow attach their values to ours, or we would attach their values to ourselves, and we kind of represent ourselves with the value that we attain by acquiring other physical matters, whether it's a car, a watch, jewelry, whatever. Nice dress if you're a woman, I don't know, nice suit if you're a man, or a watch or jewelry of some kind. I think you can get the idea what I'm trying to say. It's the fact that we always on a quest to think that what we are is only the physical being. Therefore, we constantly try to improve our physical being or abilities or our physical presentation, and compare this physical presence with the physical presence of the others, and think that if physically we are somehow different, or in your own measurement scale, each person's measurement scale is different, better than the others, then somehow you are a better human being, or you are more equipped to deal with this world and this life better, or somehow you feel that you're more valuable. But we, in some other video productions, discussed briefly that our life is in two forms, in two parts: physical and mental. Physical, tangible, and the mind, the spirit, how we are, how we function, the energy, the mentality, the mind. And we often forget that we are too busy comparing our physical unnecessarily, however unnecessarily, of course. But we should recognize the fact that when we think of someone that we respect, think of our fathers, think of our relatives who are no longer with us, or if they're on a vacation or on a trip or of some physical distance, or if they're not in this world anymore, or some scholar or somebody who has done good things for humanity and earth, when we think of them, we never think of, oh, they were such men because they were tall, or because they were this height, or they looked this way, or they were pleasant looking, or they were this way looking, or that way looking, or they had such big muscles. Or we never measure manhood by remembering a physical attribute, or when we want to think of someone was such a man, we don't say, oh, he was such a man because he was tall. He was such a man because he had big muscles. He was such a man because he was pleasant looking. Because being a man has nothing to do with the physical attribute. Being a man is a, I don't know if the word is correct, is a virtue. Being a man is a characteristic. Being a man is far higher than what physical attributes can represent. Being a man is attitude. Being a man is full of credentials, abilities, flexibilities. Is what we do is what makes us man. Is how we navigate our little boat or our ship on this ocean of life what represents being a man. I mean, even if you think of the porn stars, they never say such and such guy, porn star, was such a man. They don't, just because he, you know, I don't know, whatever. All they may say is, you know, yeah, you know, well, he had a big dick or something. I don't know. That's pretty much it. But nobody considers them who are supposedly performing sexually with women as man. There's a difference between being a man and being someone who has a male genital. Being a man is a virtue. Being a man is very highly sophisticated and valuable. Being a male, donkey is a male. It's not a man. So what I'm trying to say is that when we think of someone valuable, for example, a scholar or whoever, or someone that is not in this world anymore, and we knew and we appreciated, or we respected, we think of what they did, how they lived, how they affected the world, how they affected the family, how they affected the surroundings, how they affected the people that they knew or knew them. So why is it that we don't try to acquire things or equip ourselves with things that really represents us in the long run, and we are so busy in equipping ourselves with physical things which will never help anybody to remember how and who we were? Because if they think of us, they never think of me how small or big my nose was. They never think of me how my facial structure was. They think of me as who I was, how I affected them, what my contribution was to them or to the community, or how I lived, how was my habits, how was my approach to life, how was my intentions, my energy. This is what it is that we should focus on, and do away with trying to compare yourself against anybody. Lots of schools, all schools that I know of, constantly measure students with their grades. How you performed in examination, supposed to determine how valuable or how good you are. The family says, oh, my daughter got an A. My son was the top of his class. Who gives a shit? What kind of a human being that woman, that young girl, or that young lady, or that young man is or is going to turn out to be? How his behavior, mentality, action is going to affect his own life, his immediate family, and his parents' family, and the people around him, and the community in general. That's what is left or remembered, whether he's in this world, she's in this world still, or just in the next town or in their own place. But when we think about them, when we think about anyone that we like or we respect or we think highly of, we don't think of their looks. Because even if you know a beautiful woman, just stunning, beautiful, exceptional, gorgeous, well-dressed and everything, okay, impresses you at the outset because of the sexual representation or the pleasant figure or looks, or how she's groomed herself and how neat or stylish or whatever. But then after one or two or three times interaction, sometimes once interaction, talking, you see the energy, or you see the mentality, or you see the intentions, or it's just not coordinated with how, or not in harmony with how you think or what makes you tick. Doesn't click. And basically it just, the interest vanishes. How come? Physically she was, in all beauty standards, next to perfect. So what happened? Because what touches you and what creates an interest, a long-lasting interest, is how interaction, how mentalities, how the energy, how the intentions, how the way they deal with the daily life and the issues. That's how they become interested in each other and how they remember each other. Not just physical appearance. Well, of course, everybody likes to have physical appearance of someone that they want to have a long-term relationship, you know, and good. But most long-term relationships of a mature age being anything over, you know, 21, 22, 23, whatnot, 25, 26, all long relationships of mature age is usually not solely based on physical attributes. Physical attributes plays a part, but what keeps it to continue that relationship is how they interact, how they negotiate life, how they understand, how they cooperate, how they complement, how they attend to each other's needs, how they create an atmosphere. And that all has to do with their mentality, their energy, their manners, attitudes, life philosophy and policies, and so on and so forth. Never any long-lasting relationship has been only based on physical attributes, looks. So why is it that we, when we see anything valuable in life of a good duration, a normal long term, when we see nothing long term is created by any physical attributes, whether it's a car or clothes or looks or size, height, whatever, weight, whatever, then why is it that we're so trying to compare ourselves with that? For what? If it is not a factor in anything meaningful that we may attain in life or build in life, why are we so give it any kind of a importance, to the point that we end up thinking that we're supposed to be in constant comparison within ourselves and the others physically. Nonsense. Don't you think so? When we simply examine it a little bit longer, maybe we realize that we're looking for an excuse to live instead of focusing on how wonderful this life, this gift of life is so far, that we are alive and healthy and enjoying. Why don't we focus on all these wonderful things instead of needing an excuse to be happy? I gotta buy this so I can be happy. I gotta go here so I can be happy. I gotta go to disco. I gotta go drinking. I gotta go to party. I gotta go. I'm not saying these are bad or good. I'm saying these are activities. But we tend to think, some of us tend to think, or many people in this world tend to think, that they gotta have a reason to be happy. A new car, a new house, a place, a new place to go, a date, a new shoes. So they constantly go buy things just to be happy. Do we need excuses to appreciate the fact that we have a reasonably good normal life? Or I don't think so. I mean, we tend to be constantly busy trying to satisfy our desires to please our ego, to then be happy. So in other words, it seems like desires are a tool to bribe our ego to feel good about itself and about ourselves. And all these desires seems to be mostly physical. While what is really so internal and so easy to focus on and learn is how we can use our abilities to improve our lives by creating a relaxed atmosphere, by recognizing the truth and what is really important, what is not important. So our thoughts can easily help us to realize that some things really are just not worth anything to waste our time on or focus on or ponder on. So, having said all that, I think we should be more focused on what are the positive things that we can create, and how by our actions and what we get involved with and the plans that we may have to create that value that we are so desperately trying to reach by comparing ourselves with this and that and so forth. All right, I think I may have exhausted this train of thoughts, and perhaps I don't want to ramble on because I don't seem to remember the other things that I was just thinking to share with you. And when I do think of them, I will bring it up and we will examine it together. In the meantime, try to improve yourselves internally and realize that the truth doesn't need any proof, and the truth about you and how wonderful you are should be very easily known to you. And there is only one you, and you are perfect because it is you, and there could be no other way that you could have been other than the way that you are. So that is the ultimate way that you could have been as perfect as possible. So never try to compare yourself with anyone, anywhere, on any level, and just focus on how wonderful and perfect you are, everything about you, and don't pay attention to any notion of comparison for any reason, for any kind, to prove anything, because there is no need to proving yourself against anyone or even to yourself. Just relax and don't pay attention to anything that is nonsense. And most things that we think are the reason for us to compare ourselves or think about our physical being are just nonsense. I mean, all of it. So believe and understand who you are and how you are is the truth, and you are perfect as it could be, and take steps, positive steps, to better yourself from inside. Understand how wonderful life can be, and you can do anything you put your mind to it, and there are no barriers for you, and there are no negatives for you, and everything about you, the fact that you are in this world, part of these group that are in this world, is perfect. You just have to avoid the negative elements in life and stick with positive people, good people with good values, be a good human being, and that's really all that matters. Enjoy. Have a nice evening or day, and I'll talk to you soon.